Welcome back to another episode of Reality Core. My name is Ace Fanning, host of the Sister Wives podcast, Love Should Be Multiplied, Not Divided, and the biggest piece of shit on this episode. And I am joined by, she was once on a reality show and she's not willing to give it up. She's just going to keep on milking it for all it's worth. Anna Quincoces, former Real Housewife of Miami. And today we have a very special guest, Morgan from Morgan's Pop Talks. And we're excited to have you here because, we've had a lot of male guests and I feel like we need some more female input on what's going on. And what's crazy is like, I'm basically like female and then it's like Anna's basically male. So it's just like there's too much male energy here. And so I'm excited to have someone on my side. You know what I mean?
Time will tell, but thank you for having me.
Oh my God. Okay. I feel like so much is happening right now in the reality TV pop culture world. And there are so many things that we have to talk about. Some that are happy and some that are really sad. But I feel like the big one that everyone is talking about this morning is these Jay-Z rape allegations along with Diddy. Holy shit. I mean, before we even get into guilty, not guilty, what are your guys' thoughts on this situation?
Honestly, it felt like a matter of time, right? I mean, ever since all the Diddy stuff has started to come out, we've been hearing, more names are going to come, more names are going to come. And that led all the internet sleuths to go back and look at who Diddy was hanging out with for the past however many years. And it seemed like Jay-Z was always right by his side. So I feel like when we didn't know any names yet, and I feel like we still obviously don't know all of them that could potentially come out, but people were already assuming that it was going to be Jay-Z. So while it is a shock, it also kind of isn't.
Yeah. Anna, how are you feeling?
I think that there's a couple of things here that are weird. Part of me thinks it's a money grab. Number one, they filed a civil suit instead of filing criminal charges. If you have enough proof, why wouldn't you usually do the criminal first and then seek restitution, on the civil side? The way that he reacted, he countersued for that. He talked about how he grew up in the projects, that they respect children, that they would never do anything like that. And I don't know. I'm thinking that it's just trying to extort him for money. And also, I'm afraid of Beyonce. So thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you, Beyonce. As always, Beyonce is really the reason we have this show. It's a long story, but basically she put us together in a way, kind of. Kind of. But here's the thing. I feel like, Morgan, with you, everyone's been saying Jay-Z. Does it make sense that someone would then come out and be like, it was Jay-Z?
I mean, yeah, that it's definitely a possibility, but I do also feel like, Tony Busby, who's representing over 120, different clients.
Yeah.
He was saying this like months ago, so I feel like he obviously had that insider information before any of us knew that anything else was going to come out. So I feel like just by lighting that fire of saying, there are other A-list celebrities that are going to be involved, it kind of got the ball rolling. But this isn't something that happened overnight, right? This is probably years in the making that led to this point.
I mean, they said it happened in 2000. So it's like they've been
2004 or something. Yeah, it's like over 20 years.
Yeah. So it's just like, I mean, I hope that it's not true because for some reason, I mean, yes, we all saw Jay-Z and Solange go at it in the elevator and we still didn't get audio of what happened there. But I just feel like in my head, I'm like, he's a family man. I don't want it to be true. But, and I mean, I'm sad that if it is true, because how awful to go through this. And the thing that's so crazy, it's like the same thing with like Harvey Weinstein, is just that you see this person who allegedly, assaulted you, and then they're just constantly celebrated. Mm. And it's like, that would be so incredibly difficult to try and like maneuver through life while dealing with that.
I just don't think, honestly, just the whole way it's been handled. If they had real proof, they would have filed criminal charges. In all these years, we've heard about Jay-Z maybe cheating on, and all speculation with Rihanna, with Betty or whatever, Becky with good
Becky
hair.
with good hair. Yes, Betty.
By the way, I never know the right
Your
names.
age is showing when you call her Betty. Yeah.
I know. I think that something would have come out about him before. You know what I mean? He's always been in the spotlight. We don't hear a lot. The girl was 13. I'm not saying that he's incapable of cheating or being a cat. Also an old word.
I don't know what a cat is.
A cat, just like a dog, like a scoundrel. I don't know. Every word I use is too old for you. Oh my God. Let's
Morgan, really quick, how old are you?
Tomfoolery.
I'm turning 32 next month.
Okay, so you're the youngest one
she's
here.
A baby, you could tell in her face.
Honestly, Anna has to turn captions on when we do this because she's like her hearing's terrible.
Guys, I'm a grandmother. I could be both your mothers. I have children your ages. So, it's pretty good that I'm even here with you guys. All right.
We haven't put you in the home just yet.
Don't put me in the home. But I'm thinking that this is not going to be true. I'm thinking the way he's responding to it, he is gung-ho. He's like, prove it. He's filing charges himself. I don't know. I think they put him in there because misery loves company. He has more credibility than P. Diddy for sure. And, they want to diminish P. Diddy's. It's like if everybody did it, it's somehow less bad. I don't know. I don't think it's true. I'd be very surprised. And I can't wait to come back to this so you can see that it's not true. They may find out other things. He may have cheated with 6 guys and 14 women, but they're all going to be of age. It's not going to be somebody minor. I just don't believe that.
So Morgan, you're saying guilty. Anna, you're saying not guilty?
Not guilty.
Can I say guilty by association? I mean, I know that's horrible, but like that's the way that it looks. And I think it's interesting, like this is not comparable, but this recent thing that came out with Brianna Chicken Fry and Zach Bryan. If Zach Bryan can offer Brianna Chicken Fry $12 million to not say anything about a potentially verbally abusive relationship, Zach Bryan has $12 million to give to an influencer. Imagine how much money other people like P. Diddy or others would have to give to people to not get their stories out there.
Morgan, one of our favorite questions to ask here is, would you take the 12 million?
Yeah. No questions. Yeah.
I'm like, honestly,
I don't care.
I'm going to be like running his merch store for him. I'm like, all right, perfect. I would absolutely take it. I'm like a piece of shit though. So I'm glad to hear other people are in the same boat as me.
No, but I mean, I think it goes to show that she's making more money than we thought she was, because $12 million is not an easy thing to turn down.
No, God. All right, let's move on to something a little bit lighter. Anna, do you know what your most expensive pair of shoes are?
Yeah.
How much? Give us a number.
Like, does it matter if I got it? Can I tell you the original retail price? Because only fools pay retail.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, the original retail price, like $1,200.
Oh my God.
For
Morgan?
Oh no, that I don't live that life.
But I paid $190.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
That's a really good deal.
I would never buy something that's $1,200 that I can't like drive or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my most expensive pair of shoes is like $40. But recently,
more, but why?
Yeah, right. I'm a Maxinista. I like the TJ Maxx. That's where I'm always heading to. But Judy Garland's Dorothy's red slippers have just sold for $32.5 million. And I do not understand. If you have $32.5 million, what are you doing with these shoes? Like, why are they so important to have for that much money? Like, is that the craziest thing that you've ever heard that people have spent money on? Like, it makes no sense to me.
And you know what's worse? $32.5 million, but the actual winning bid was $28,000. So the rest, $4.5 million, was fees and taxes.
Oh, God.
So does that person regret the purchase? Because that's quite the jump.
That's a weird listen, there are such weird people in the world, and there are people that have way too much money. Look at the guy with the banana and the
Yeah.
duct tape, and then he ate it. Like, what an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. You could help people with that kind of money, but I feel it's some weird I wonder, they don't disclose who it was, but I wonder what kind of weird kink that person has that he wants Dorothy's shoes.
In my
Because
head,
people's
it's like a
feet are a
guy.
thing.
Yeah, in my head, it's a guy, and he goes home and he puts them on, and he like trots around the
100%.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a
So
friend
he's
who
no-
worked at Payless and said that men would come in all the time and try on like the women's size 14s.
I am telling you that this guy went home like Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, tucked his penis between his legs, and stood with his shoes going, for sure. For sure.
Okay.
You get a
I want to ask both of you, what is the one thing that you can think of that you spent way too much money on it and it was such a stupid buy? For me, I already know what it was. I wanted to become a personal trainer at one point, and so I signed up for the whole thing. Like, I got everything to do this. I signed up for the class. It was like $1,500, and I did nothing. I did zero of any of it. My wife was like, why don't you just like start slow? And I was like, no, I'm all in on this thing. And I didn't do a single bit of it. And I would be a terrible personal trainer, but it was just like one night I thought I would be good at it.
I think mine actually might be unpopular, but my bachelorette party. Like, looking back, I'm like, I would have rather had a spa weekend with my closest girlfriends 20 minutes up the road than flying from, I'm in Northeast Ohio. So we went to Miami, we like went all out, whatever. But at this point, I was 31 when I had my bachelorette party. I'm too tired. I can't go out. I can't be like on the beach all day long drinking in the sun. So I would say my bachelorette party, I don't regret it because like the memories, obviously, but I definitely would have done something cheaper.
Did you have strippers?
No, I'm too much of a prude. I would be so scared.
Anna, what's yours?
You know what? That it's funny because it just reminded me that I went to a bachelorette party last year. I have a friend that's a lot younger than me, and everyone on this bachelorette party was at least 15 to 20 years younger than me. And they drank all night. I'm not a big drinker. I'm done after one drink. And we would get back, and then they would go to the hotel bar and whatever. And then we split everything. You know what I mean? And so I didn't take advantage of that. But I think my worst purchase was a very large storage unit that is an infrared sauna. Okay. It just sits there. And it was my boyfriend who was like, oh, we should get this. We should get this. And honestly, he paid for it, but it bothers me that it's there. It takes up space. It's a ridiculous kind of luxury. Like, nobody here is that fit and that concerned about their health. You know what I mean? We also have a giant vat of Sour Patch Kids. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't. That was a waste of money and a waste of space. And I regret it every time I look at it.
Okay. To the person who bought the $32.5 million ruby red slippers are guilty, right? Of everything. Like, you're guilty of being a piece of shit. You're guilty of having too much money. You're guilty of spending your money in the most stupid of ways. Like, I think we can all agree, right? And
the value of them was $10. If you look at them closely, they're not made of like little even imitation rubies or Swarovski crystal. Is that how you say Swarovski? English is my second language. They're like cheap sequins.
Yeah,
they're just so bad.
We're going to see a Dorothy Slippers OnlyFans pop up here in the next couple of weeks. And that's the long game. That's the long play.
You know what? I'm here for that. If that's what they do with it, then I am a huge advocate for everyone doing OnlyFans. Anna's actually just getting ready to launch hers.
Awesome.
You think that it's not true. But I've been thinking about it. No, I've been thinking about it because I'm not going to miss that boat. A, I have nice feet. B, I can cook. I can massage the shit out of protein, if that's what turns you on, while wearing just like Padma. Padma from Top Chef, she's always not wearing a bra and everybody thinks she's like the hottest thing. I'm going to do that shit on OnlyFans. Why not?
Would you show your butthole?
No,
Okay.
it's not bleach.
Well-
That's where she draws the line.
It's not bleach. It's not even whack. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
That's too much work. No. No.
Okay.
You don't even have to.
Okay. This is a tough one for me because, I never think Bravo does anything wrong. Ever. Like, I am a Bravo apologist through and through. I think that even when things suck, they're still great. But is it time that we take RHONY out back and just shoot it? Like, this has gone on long enough. Andy went out and he asked all the fans, he was like, hey, we're about to film the RHONY reunion. Let me know your questions. And every question was like, why is this still happening? Can I ask the women, like, how does it feel to be so incredibly boring? Like, it's bad. It's so bad. And
why is that? Ace, I'm so surprised to hear you say that because
I know.
you are, there is nobody that loves women screaming at each other. There is nobody that kisses, Andy's ass more than Ace.
I know.
He just loves everything Real Housewives. So I don't get it. I found out that there's a change.org petition about canceling RHONY with some people are saying that it was Sonia or Luann who filed it. But the point is, what's the big deal? I don't understand it. Like, somebody's mad about some fake pregnancy and the fact that there's product placement and that they're not real friends. But isn't that the case with most of the shows? I don't know what, I don't even understand. Everyone is on this bandwagon. Everyone.
The problem is that the OG RHONY was women who did not give a shit if a camera was on them. Like, Ramona shit the bed. Last night, I fell asleep watching the trip to Cartagena with the boat ride from hell. And like, Luann leaves a fully shit in bed behind. Like, she's just like, sorry about that. I couldn't help it. Like, that's the stuff where these women are so guarded with everything that they're doing. And it's so frustrating because it's like, so often I feel like they're like, don't say that about me on camera. Let's not talk about this. We've got Bryn telling Rebecca Minkoff how to like start drama. It's just too much self-producing. It's so unfortunate.
That is true.
Yeah.
True.
The OG cast, reality TV was not the same place it was when they first started than it is now. And they paved the way. I know that sounds ridiculous, but they did. Like, everybody wanted to be that OG New York cast. They're one of the most iconic. And I think when you come in trying to follow that up, you're kind of always set up for failure. But also you have this added pressure of the social media world that did not exist, when they started and nitpicking everything and the trolls. And yes, it came along with it. But I feel like in the later seasons of RHONY with the OG cast, they were already unapologetic for however many years before social media started to get big. So I feel like coming in 2023, it's just a different landscape and you have to not care about that kind of stuff. And I feel like they really care about it a lot. We even saw Aaron straight up say to Abe, like you said, Ace, like, don't mention that on camera, like a joke about doing mushrooms and looking at the ceiling, like something that's so minuscule.
Yeah.
But when you say, oh, they're, self-producing about something like that, what else are they self-producing about?
And I feel like I want to love Uba so much, but she's literally never, we are really going to town on her fibroid. Like, it is like, we've got a fibroid and this is her whole storyline. I'm like, give us more. And like, Jenna doesn't have her girlfriend wife on the show. Uba doesn't have her boyfriend on the show. Like, just
that
give
wasn't
us something.
Allowed before, guys. Back in, before the wheel, when I was a housewife, I got downgraded to friend because my fiance at the time could not be on the show. And that was like, no, your story's incomplete. Now they're just accepting that. And what's weird is that Andy is kind of dying on this hill saying it's not going anywhere.
I know.
I like it and it's not going anywhere.
He has to, right? He can't ever come out and say like, yes, you guys are right. we're not going to renew it. But like the numbers speak for itself. They're not going to be shoveling out all this money for seasons to come. Maybe they'll get one more season, who knows? But these shows cost money. And if it's flopping, it's flopping. And like as much as Andy wants to pretend like it's not, it is.
Do you remember they put out that awful show? What was like Real Girlfriends in Paris or whatever the hell that stupid show?
Yeah.
I feel like had they come in and they taken these same women and done a different show, it may have been perceived a little bit better. But it's like you're trying to follow up Sonia Morgan, Ramona Singer, and like the thing is with Ramona Singer, she's the worst human being of all time. Like there's no one worse out there than Ramona Singer, but that's what makes her such great television.
Yeah.
And these women,
her awkward moves and all those things, those women had funny idiosyncrasies that these women, because they're so produced and they know how they look on camera and they're just so cognizant of everything they're doing that they won't show, you know, the furry underbelly. They won't. They just want this whole like persona that they've created for TV. But I see that in other shows too. But it just so happens that on this show, it's the entire cast that's doing it.
See, and that's the thing is like when we go to Salt Lake, those women had nothing to lose by doing this. We go to Dallas, those women had nothing to lose by just letting it all.
Dallas.
I do love Dallas, and I will always die on that hill. Those first couple seasons of Dallas, every time, because that's
Who's
my Roman
favorite
Empire.
On Dallas? Because I'm going to get her on this show.
Stephanie
I'm
Holman.
friends with Leanne Locken.
Oh, they're
you like
just
her?
hands. Yeah.
And then, but I love the one with the D with the mom,
Deandra.
Yeah.
I don't give a rip about that Deandra.
I am not so secretly in love with her husband.
Oh, see, I live for Stephanie Holman. But here's the thing about RHONY, though, is if you really like break it down, there's nobody that you hate and there's nobody that you love. Like, it's just like Leanne Locken, she was so fun to hate. Stephanie Holman, you loved, you wanted to be friends with. Like Ramona, you loved to hate her. Sonia Morgan, you loved to pity her because she was just so pathetic and sad. And that's what made the show so good. But it's like these women, I feel nothing.
I think Jessel's the closest to a breakthrough. I feel like her first season, you know, I feel like she kind of went all out her first season, you know, and she didn't care what people thought. And even this season, I mean, Jessel is my favorite, but like you said, she's almost there. You know, she's like almost breaking through that wall. I think she's doing it a lot more with Pavitt this season. You know, we're seeing kind of the off-putting things that he does and says. So I feel like, you know, who's to say if they would start again, but if they would, I would like to give Jessel a second chance with a different group.
Ladies in London.
Yeah.
Great on that.
Well, here's the thing about Jessel. She's willing to move because she was actually supposed to be on Real Housewives of Dallas. Her and Lizzie, the original girl who was on RHONY. But that didn't end up getting picked up. And then they move over to New York after a while. And they were like, oh yeah, let's do Real Housewives of New York over here. So it's like, she's willing to move. Let's just go to London, resurge lady. I think Jessel, I love to hate Jessel. I think if she went to London, it would be such a better fit.
Yeah.
I agree. I
could see that.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So is Bravo guilty? Are they guilty of just kind of dragging this on too long?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
They canceled Dubai, and I was Dubai's only fan. I love Dubai, and I was sitting here saying, like, you know, let's give Dubai one more chance. And my wife hated Dubai. She was like the worst show. She's like, this is the dumbest show I've ever watched.
Well, if you look at it, the numbers are about the same.
Yeah.
So that's pretty telling.
I know. And then Andy's like, oh, those first day numbers don't mean what they used to and stuff. And
right. Well, that's true. Because
it is true.
Got canceled because we went under 1 million. Nobody gets 1 million now.
Yeah.
We went under 1 million and it's like, no, that's not enough. It's a different time. It was completely a different time.
Are people not watching TV or is it just because of streaming?
I think a little bit of both. Oh. I mean, it has to be like appointment television for me to sit down at 8:00, you know, on a Tuesday night and watch it. And that's the thing that I have said a couple times with RHONY is, you know, honestly, there was a point in time where I stopped watching it because just because I, am a Bravo commentator and this is my job doesn't mean I have to pretend to like something that I don't. If I think a show sucks, I'm going to say it sucks and I'm not watching it. And your time is valuable. So like I would rather watch Dancing with the Stars on a Tuesday night than, the season of RHONY. So
that's a
I
low
would always
blow.
catch up on it, but like still it wasn't top of mind ever.
To put Dancing with the Stars above anything. I mean, wow.
Hey, this season of Dancing with the Stars was pretty good.
Okay, I'll take it. I've never watched it before.
I didn't really get into it either until last season, and this season was really good. But they're also doing more controversial picks. They had Anna Delvey, which I was like all over that. Bachelor Girly, they have The Bachelor on there, so they know they're picking people, on purpose. The casting is moving in the right direction. So Ace, don't knock it until you try it.
And there's a lot of romance situations happening.
I do
too.
like when you find out that they're cheating together. That always does I always like
Mauricio,
that.
hello?
Yeah. Mauricio replacing Kyle's picture of one with him and his dancing partner. Speaking of Mauricio, how did you guys feel about Mauricio's reaction to Kyle just like, really, I feel like spilling her heart out to him? And he was just kind of like, oh, wow. That's crazy.
LOL. He was laughing the whole time.
He was laughing with his big teeth.
Oh, those are the worst. I think those are one of the worst veneers we've seen.
Guys, they're chiclets.
I just don't like, I'm a Kyle apologist. I'll say that through and through. I'll always apologize for her. I'll always side with her, even when she's wrong. And I feel like that was such a sad moment because I feel like she still loves him. And I feel like he was just kind of like, yeah, I've moved on.
Look, I've been in this place before. You love somebody and then suddenly you do something, you start feeling like you're the shit. Oh, I'm skinny now. I'm working out, whatever. She became attracted to this woman. She could not have given a shit about Mauricio at that point. And then everything kind of changed. And then Mauricio, who was hurt by the whole thing, started moving on and now she wants him back. That's just, it's human nature. Also, Kyle is really sensitive about a bunch of stuff. I usually also am on Kyle's side and I don't really love Dorit, but that whole thing with Dorit and Kyle is grasping at straws, okay, to blame Dorit for things and getting upset about the drink at, spilling the drink at BravoCon. And I think this is all one and the same thing. Things are not working out for her the way that she wanted to once she decided to come back to the old Kyle. Now she wants to be the old Kyle again, but she burned everything down. She set everything on fire and now you can't come back to something you set on fire.
Like, Morgan, I need you to step in here. I need you to say your piece because I'm about to unleash
he
on this
doesn't like
moment.
when you talk bad about Kyle.
I mean,
agree with me.
Secretly deep down, I want them to get back together.
Same.
And I feel like 27 years is a long time, and sometimes you do. I mean, I haven't been married for 27 years, but I can imagine that you get frustrated with certain things. I mean, we did see Mauricio not be around a lot for Kyle, especially she had that, her friend, what was that thing with her friend?
Her best friend committed suicide and he did the whole situation for her and he was like, oh, sorry, I've got to open up another real estate office.
Yeah, where was Mauricio? I mean, I feel like those types of things would hurt so deeply that you probably do get to a place where you're like, I'm sensing that you don't care as much about me as I care about you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go try to find some fun, some excitement. And I feel like that's, what she found with Morgan. But then now we can't say Morgan's name on camera. Things didn't pan out, like you said, out of the way that they were supposed to. But honestly, if I'm Kyle too, and I see Mauricio like laughing and skiing in Aspen with 25-year-old models and towels, I'm good. Like, I don't want to get back with you anyways.
Yeah,
because you've shown your true colors.
Right. And I think she wants him now because he's not available. Honestly, look, this is an unpopular opinion and not very feminist of me, but
I would
Mauricio's
never
opening-
expect anything less from you.
Mauricio's opening, agency offices at an impressive clip, and he helps afford Kyle all the fun that she can go have, and the plane and the place, the house in Aspen and everything else. So sometimes you don't get to pick at what time a meeting is or at what time you're going to be able to meet with somebody that's going to represent, a huge windfall of money, which then she uses to collect more Birkins. So, Mauricio has he's come a long way. He has come a long way from the time that he was working for Rick Hilton, and he's given her a great lifestyle. And I think that part of it is that now that, we built this together. I'll accept that because she was there.
Gotcha.
But
well, it sucks to be wrong because you are. Here's a theory that I've made up in my head about the entire situation. I believe there's rumors forever that Mauricio has been cheating. Okay, so number one, I feel like Kyle was like, that really sucks, but this is the father of my children. I'm going to stay around. We're friends. I felt like the two of them were actually friends. They enjoyed each other. Well, yeah, he cheated on her. Okay, but she was willing to look past that. I feel like when her friend passed away in such a tragic way, I feel like he could not be bothered. And I'm not just talking about going to the ceremony. There's a reason why Kyle stopped drinking. There's a reason why she started working out so much. Like, she was dealing with something, and I feel like he was like, yeah, you got to handle that on your own. And so I think everyone thinks, like, people seem to think that Kyle went out and found Morgan, and then that's what ended their relationship. I think Mauricio was a piece of shit, and he messed things up with Kyle, and then she just had to find her way as a lesbian.
And then had maybe rose-colored glasses about, oh, well, if I, leave him or separate from him, he's going to realize how much he misses me and how much he misses our family dynamic. And then we found that not to be the case, which is why I say, like, at the end of the day, he showed his true colors. And unfortunately, it sucks for Kyle. Nobody wants to go through that heartbreak, but at least, they showed you, their priorities.
Is there anything worse than breaking up with someone and thinking, like, you're going to miss this, and then they don't?
Yeah.
You know why he didn't miss it too? Because she knew a Mauricio that didn't have any money, that they didn't have anything, right? And then she ends it with Mauricio when he's on top of the world and can really afford anything. And of course, young girls are going to be drawn to him. And he's feeling like it was the wrong decision at the wrong time. And I also think that Kyle started working out a lot and stopped drinking because Morgan doesn't drink and also works out a lot, which is, I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but it's just very suspicious. I feel like not putting any blame on her is irresponsible, Ace.
It is absolutely responsible, and you are irresponsible with everything that you're saying right now. And I'm sorry, but like, there's about to be disorder in the disorderly conduct in the court because
Don't
I'm
make
losing.
me get my gavel.
Get it and shove it up your ass because
I was going to shove it up your ass.
Is there really a gavel?
She does pull
really
one out sometimes. Yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look, can you handle, it's not that big. I'll lube it for you.
I'm going to flip it over and put the other end up your ass. So
it's already been in there.
let me ask. Oh, gross. Okay. Morgan, you don't want to know this, and somehow this comes up every episode, but Anna loves ass play. But Anna, let me ask you a question. Morgan, have you ever seen Sister Wives?
No.
Okay. So, Anna, do you believe that Mary broke up with Cody?
No.
Okay. So I don't believe that Kyle broke up with Mauricio. I felt like Mauricio kept being a piece of shit. He kept pushing her. He kept doing these things, trying to like push her away and ruin her trust.
Ace,
And then
Cody
finally she was
blatant. I don't want you. Don't wait for me. You whatever. By the way, Mary
But in
had a
Mary's
glow up.
head, she thinks that she's like, oh my God, I ended things with Cody. I can't believe this. Like, wow, I'm such a...
That is such a bad comparison. Oh my
No,
God.
it's not. It's
You're
the exact,
so
it's
out of
perfectly
order.
right. Nope, you're out
No,
of order.
You're out of order.
Okay, so it looks like Anna is wrong. Morgan, you're right. I'm right. And that's just where we'll have to
All
leave
right.
that.
All right.
Now, Anna, this next story is for you because I know you've gotten a new face recently. Donatella Versace has presented to the world a new face. And unfortunately, there was one picture that came out that was absolutely edited the shit out of. And that was the one at first that I was like, oh my God, wow, what did she do? But since then, other pictures have come out of what she actually looks like. This doctor, is this man like, is this the equivalent of the cure for cancer for celebrities?
Let me tell you. First, I think she went to Lindsay Lohan's doctor because she
Yes.
got Lohan extra because she started out. I mean, I don't really like to talk about women's appearances. I can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, okay, for sure, for sure.
But she was a prune,
Yeah.
you know? Like, she was a sun worshiper. She's older. Whoever that doctor was is a magician.
Yep.
And more power to her. I mean, she should have done it sooner. She looks great. That's all I can say. I'm a big believer in doing whatever you want to do that makes you feel better about yourself. So good for her. But that doctor, we need to know who he is.
It's like, Jesus could walk on water. He could turn water into wine. He could turn a loaf of bread into feeding 1,000 people. Or I don't know the whole story of the Bible, but it's like, but could you do this? You know, could you do this for Donatella? Because
but now I want to see the rest of the body. Because the rest of the body was like leather too, you know?
Yeah.
So I wonder if she did anything else. But, you know, good for her. Wear a turtleneck and long pants all the time. She looks great.
Morgan,
I feel like if I'm the doctor, I want credit.
Right?
Like, I want my name to be out there because every celebrity under the sun would be calling you up.
There is something going on in Hollywood and it's working out great. They're all getting these new faces. It's a new way of doing it. I don't know. I want it for sure. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're either going to be ugly or you're not. So a facelift's not going to help me. But I mean, whoever this man is, come out. There's two people in the world that I want to know right now. I want to know who shot the CEO of United Healthcare, and I want to know who this doctor is. That's it.
Yes, and can we add JonBenét Ramsey to that list too?
Yes!
Because I've also gone down that rabbit hole.
Me too. I watched that, you know, and I really thought that that whole story has changed after that documentary for me.
Because it's one-sided, and they left so much information out, and those parents definitely did it. I've been on the case since I was 6 years old. Me and JonBenét are the same age. It was around Christmas time. I was at my grandma's house. I was 6 years old, fixated on the news. I've been there from the beginning. There's no way it was the parents. And it was.
You don't find it weird? One of the weirdest things I found was that kid was living and sleeping on another side of the house, really far away from her parents. Isn't that weird? Would you put, if you had like 5 wings in your house, would you put Louis in like some basement, you know, thing at 6 years old? It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird. That's what makes me believe that there was something there, that the parents were somehow involved.
But also sorry, keep going.
No, it's okay. If the parents were involved, like, because the most evidence is like something happened within the family, right? But if that's true, like, how does John speak for 20 years and not say something that incriminates himself? Because he's still very vocal and he's never not been vocal. And if you're guilty of something, like, you don't want to say anything.
I don't think it was him. I think it was the mother who was jealous of the kid because she was once a beauty queen. This is tale as old as time.
See, I think if you think it's one parent, it's both parents. I think that Patsy had an accident situation and John was like, and because here's the other thing too that always bothers me is they said that she had shown signs of sexual abuse prior to this. So the one theory is that John was the one doing that. Patsy caught him in the act. She lost her mind, threw JonBenét down the stairs or something, and that's how she hurt her head. And then they had to do this elaborate cover up. But nobody can tell me, where did the pineapple and milk come from? That is not a treat anyone is getting. You're telling me that you're going to go into a house, kill this girl, and you're like, hey, what's your final meal? And she's like, I would love pineapple with milk. And he goes and he gets the pineapple, he gets the milk out and pours her this bowl, lets her eat it, and then it's like, all right, now I'm going to kill you. No. Where did the pineapple and milk come from? They said she didn't eat anything. Why is that? Like, they're lying about that. And
don't some people think it was Burke?
Oh, people think that
got the pineapple. I know people think that he, was involved too. But from what I was reading, somebody thought that it was Burke and JonBenét went downstairs, got the snack together, and then.
But then it's like the timeline is so hard because it's like, John went to bed around like midnight. When did the kids come down and get the pineapple and milk? And no one, I mean, Burke has never said they went down. And do you know who Burke reminds me of? If you watch the Dr. Phil episode, he reminds me of Stuart from Mad TV. If you've ever seen Stuart from Mad TV, it's like they are identical twins. But it's like that part of the story has always bothered me. And then that someone came into your house and kidnapped your child. And you're like, you know what? Upstairs on the other side of the house is our son. We're just going to keep him in there and just keep him sleeping. My kid is going to be glued to my side. I'm going to be breastfeeding my child because I'm like, you're not getting anything from anywhere else until we know what's going on. That's just, it's such a weird response.
I think we're going to find out before he dies. There's a thing about people, they're called dying declarations, and you can count on them being true because they don't want to die with that. And I really think it's going to take that long to figure it out. It's amazing how people can get away with something for so long. And then they have to share that information. But yeah, maybe the whole thing was one-sided. But when I watched that, I thought there was, that other person's DNA that was there. That didn't make sense. The fact that they went so far as the police wanted it to be them. They went as far as to take the girl's panties to China where it was made to see if they could get the DNA of the person who worked on the panties. With that much interest in getting the parents convicted and that they didn't, I don't know.
Isn't it also just scary how many weirdo creeps there are out there? Because if it was within the family, all these other guys that confess for what? They clearly don't have their right mind. And for multiple people, what was it, 3 people to confess and not actually be charged with the crime? It's like, how many of these type of weirdo people are out there if we're getting this many for one case?
You know what I think is criminal? I think it's criminal to put your child in a situation to be lusted after, over sexualize a 4, 5, 6-year-old in this kind of, world.
It's only perverted if you're perverted, though. Because that one lady said that JonBenét was on the saxophone. She's like, and she sat there and she masturbated with the saxophone for 3 minutes and no one did. I'm like, she was pretending she was playing the saxophone.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What a stretch. I think if you're a pervert, it's perverted. But if you're not a pervert and you're just like, it's weird. Yeah. It's toddlers and tiaras is
wearing
weird.
Lashes and makeup and her hair and hot curlers. I don't know.
I feel in today's day and age, it should definitely not be a thing anymore. Back in the 90s, it was the biggest thing. All of my friends were doing it, and I was the only person not doing it. But looking back on it and seeing, like you said, what kind of people it attracts and really for what purpose. There's no reason that a 6-year-old should be wearing fake eyelashes and, all these types of costumes for what? There's no reason for it.
That said, she didn't deserve to die. But I also think that as a parent, you need to.
What is the but that comes after she didn't deserve to die? But
no, but I think parents need to be cognizant of the fact that we're living in a world full of fucking weirdos, and that it's possible that somebody will be attracted to my little prepubescent girl if she's wearing makeup and stockings, And so.
Right.
it's your responsibility to keep her away from that.
Speaking of Louie, my daughter, she has her spray tan appointment today. We're doing one this weekend, actually. All right, we need to do a quick lightning round of stories because there was just so many things that we need to talk about. Give me your fastest reaction to these stories. Brandi Glanville's face and what is going on there?
Tragic. And what? Like, does Brandi Glanville live the most chaotic life under the sun?
Yes.
Poor thing. What is this parasite that's jumping all over her face? That is horrifying. I would get like an X-Acto knife and open a hole somewhere so that shit could fly out of my face because I don't want it bouncing around my face. How can you even sleep? It's a horror movie.
I was once a Brandi Glanville fan, and then everything happened with Morocco. And I don't even blame her. I just blame that we don't get to watch it. And that's the biggest travesty of all. Next story. Lindsay Hubbard has given birth to her baby girl. Thoughts?
I'm happy for her. I mean, she's wanted this for as long as we've known her. I'm excited to see her in a new light. I think it sets a question of a precedent for where Summer House goes forward because I feel like they're kind of close on Vanderpump Rules trail, where they're all outgrowing the premise of the show. So I think what Summer House has been able to do that Vanderpump Rules was not able to do is adapt to that. And I still feel like we're watching the same people, even though their lives are changing. Whereas Vanderpump Rules, we weren't watching the same people anymore.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like they could take Lindsay, Paige, Sierra, maybe, and like do that as Real Housewives of New York?
Or do like a Valley situation.
Yeah, something like that. Where it's like, we don't need you going to the house and doing these parties and stuff like that. Just live your life now. And that would be great. Do you think that Carl sent a text congratulating?
No,
I don't think so either. I don't think so.
Moving over to Salt Lake City, Bronwyn this week. And I got to say, I love Bronwyn. I didn't think I would. I did not think I would like this woman. And I love her. I would die for her right now. Todd, her dad / husband, he has once again kind of chastised her in front of her friends because I think she said cunt, not entirely sure. But he really just was like, do not say that. Don't talk like that. What's going on here? Is this giving us like Erica Girardi, Tom Girardi vibes? Is everything okay there?
Not to me. I don't get that vibe.
You think it's normal?
I think it's normal when you marry an older man. There is the attraction to somebody older and successful is that, there's some guidance. There's something hot about that, Ace. I know you may not get that. I think that he wants her to be better than that. I think she's very young, 39 to me. It's like a fetus, but she's still young. And I think that he wants to guide her. When you go into the housewives world, you kind of want to emulate everybody else. And if everybody's saying the see you next Tuesday word, like then she's going to say it. And he's like, no, you're better than that. And I think it's good. I think it's good. By the way, I want to say something to somebody that left a comment on our YouTube that I was talking about his name is Todd, right?
Yes.
Todd's wrinkly
or
bald
Alan,
and
according to
how I can never be with somebody like that old. I meant I could not be with somebody that old if I were 39 because they pointed out that he's only 7 years older than me and that I should get it together. And
your boyfriend's balls now are pretty saggy, right?
Super saggy. Super saggy. Like, yeah. And the thing is that like, if it doesn't work out with him and Bronwyn, Todd, give me a call because I would date Todd today, but not when I'm 39.
Todd had no idea what the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was.
Oh,
no idea. And I think that is the problem is that now, Bronwyn is coming in. She's making a splash. She's a really great, newbie coming onto the scene, but you had to play the game. And I don't think Todd knew what that game was. Yeah. And it might be different to the way that Bronwyn interacts in a normal social setting without cameras and without a Bravo or NBCU paycheck. But I think that's the disconnect.
I think Bronwyn is going to make I mean, Salt Lake City. I think her and Mary coming back saved that franchise.
Oh, it's so good.
You know,
It's
it's
the
really,
best show
really
ever.
good. Heather is so disappointing to me. I don't know if you saw the
Same.
other day her and Bryn somewhere where she's wearing like these, like, I don't know, those things that aren't really shorts with a jacket. And like, she looked good, but it's like she's a completely different person. And actually, I think Miami is going to be saved by this new Stephanie girl because she's
Oh,
a lot, but she's so good. She's a total boss babe. And
okay.
she does not give a fuck. And I can't wait for that.
I just want to say that if Todd is listening, that I would also marry you.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. Okay, this is actually a very sweet story. Tyler Perry, you know, and I don't really think about Tyler Perry too often, other than when
Unless they're
Dorinda,
masturbating.
masturbating, or when Dorinda feels the need to quote the great Tyler Perry. But do you guys remember the Turpin 13 kids?
No, I
Oh.
tried to look that up. You and your
Okay,
story.
so the Turpin 13 kids, I mean, it was this girl escaped from her house. There's 13 kids. The parents had them like chained to their beds, wouldn't feed them. Like,
yes,
it was the saddest story of all time. Well, Tyler Perry has been silently supporting the Turpin 13 kids and like didn't look for any sort of recognition or anything from it. Oprah was the one who actually came out and said, here's something you don't know about Tyler Perry. And I just thought, I've never watched a Medea's family reunion, but I'm going to now. I want to support Tyler in all of his endeavors.
That is nice. You know, with all the shit we hear all the time, to somebody doing it without trying to get, you know, like all this great
Public praise.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, he's so great. He's so whatever. That to me is a really somebody with a good heart. So
yes.
Kudos to Tyler Perry.
Two more stories. Christine Brown of Sister Wives. It's been revealed that she has gotten her tits done, but unfortunately it was revealed by her son-in-law who said that her tits look great. Thoughts?
Tony?
Yeah, Tony went on Patreon and was like, McKelty, your mom's tits look great in that.
Exiled from the family immediately.
Right?
Listen, I am a proponent of boob jobs. Seriously. I really, really think it's a great thing. It's an amazing investment and good for her. But Tony's so weird. Tony is so fucking weird for saying that.
Right.
In the same vein, I'm going to tell you that my son-in-law, the very well-known producer of the Mr. Beast show, once bought me a very inappropriate dress for Christmas that showed side boob like up to here, and it was red and short, and I knew at that moment that he secretly lusted for me and had like mother-daughter fantasies, and I confronted him and he's admitted it.
Oh, okay. Well,
maybe that's poor Morgan.
Thanksgivings must be wild at your house.
I think we need to have Beba back on and talk about this. Last story, and this is honestly the biggest hard-hitting news out there, guys. McDonald's has announced that snack wraps are coming back.
Thank God.
Wow, this
Thank
is
God.
The world is healing.
Honestly.
The world is healing.
Yeah,
Morgan,
and you know what? You need a snack between meals, and it's the perfect little bundle of fried deliciousness.
Yeah. Thank you.
And you know what? It has protein, so it's not that bad for you.
No, not at all. It's not.
And this has nothing to do with why America's obese.
No.
Or why you had to go on Ozempic.
No, I would never eat a snack wrap. I get a Big Mac.
Life is about balance, snack wraps and Ozempic. Hello.
Right.
Obviously.
Morgan lost 50 pounds, by the way.
Oh, thank you for telling her. Morgan, thank you so much for being here. Where can everyone find you, and when does your show come out?
Instagram and TikTok for now, and YouTube at Morgan P Talks. My show drops every Thursday. You can watch it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and it's Morgan's Pop Talks. Patreon episodes come out daily, so if you want more content, you can get it there.
Ooh.
I want one of your new mugs.
Oh, okay. We can make that happen.
I need that. I don't like people don't talk to me.
No.
Like, I'm not in the mood, you know?
It says leave me alone, Ace, if you want a mug that says leave me alone.
Our front doormat says please leave. I'm all for that. Anna Quincoces, where can people visit you at your senior assisted living?
At Anna Cooks, ANAQOOKS is my
Okay.
Instagram. And, on this show where I share everything with you, Ace.
Including your son-in-law wanting to fuck your brains out. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Court is officially adjourned, and we have had so much fun being with you, Morgan. Thank you for, really coming down into the slums with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're wonderful.